I came here in January 1998 when the company had just moved here from Melzo, so it was all new, all shiny, all splendid. The premises were basically offices, cutting-edge offices at the time, so a completely new environment.
Sostanzialmente degli uffici all'epoca erano all'avanguardia, quindi un ambiente completamente nuovo.
As for myself, I was coming from a very small company, so to find myself at a company of 60 people was an exceptional achievement for me. At the time, there were just 7 of us in the R&D office. There was a very familiar atmosphere. There was a remarkable spirit of collaboration among people. But also the owners at that time were always there, very attentive. And throughout the company, there was a strong bond, a sort of family bond. At that time, we managed 4 or 5 projects per year, whereas currently we are managing over 40 projects at a time. When I first arrived here, we were going through a phase of transition, moving from the old 2-dimensional CAD drawings to 3-dimensional ones. So it was a moment of choice too, as we needed to understand which system we had to use for drafting. And all that using as reference the original drawings, made in the 70s and 80s, very old and still made on tracing paper. So it was very exciting from an organizational point of view because engineer Rambaldini, one of my valued co-worker, and I tried to provide the foundations for a better organizational structure of the office. It was the beginning of projects which were increasingly exciting and more involved, very significant in terms of relevance to our customers. You must never stop being enthusiastic, especially when you work in research and development. In the past years, there was a remarkable growth which involved research too, especially about traditional design for traditional systems. But today, the needs have changed. We must try to understand how to take our quick release coupling into the future. We are already working on this. These are the early days. We're just at the beginning. We're trying to understand how we can make the quick release coupling a little more intelligent than it is right now. But it takes years. It takes investments. It also implies learning skills that we've never had here at home, because all designers and engineers are mechanical experts or mechanical engineers. Electronics or mechatronics never used to be what we focused on in the past. So now it's time to look at these issues too, and we're doing it by dedicating our gradually growing attention to them while making growing investments in this area. Faster Technical Office registers between 4 and 5 patents every year, still on traditional products. And this spirit of innovation and this innovative soul, as for hydraulics, must be there even in the future because I believe it is very, very important. In the past, we were very innovative from a traditional hydraulic viewpoint as compared to our competitors. But now, this is no longer enough. It is no longer enough also because our competitors, especially those in the Asian part of the world, have made great strides and continue to make great strides in the hydraulic field. In my opinion, the plus that Faster can offer in the R&D area in the future is to continue providing a service to the customers, the big, loyal customers who regularly turn to us, trusting Faster will find a solution. However, the plus must also be a leap into the future, into the world of connection, into the world of IoT, into the world of electrification, because only in this way and in the correct time frame will it be possible to create the basis to guarantee future development to this company for the next 20 to 30 years. This is the only way. Invest now to be ready tomorrow.
What's your perfect working day?
Saturday morning. I feel lucky as I live and I work here in Rivolta Dada. And on Saturday morning, as well as in the late afternoons from 5 p.m. onwards, you can step back a moment and think, look at the ongoing projects, look at the planning, or file some documentation away. It's a quiet moment which gives you the chance to look at what you need to do in the day to come.
Looking back at these 24 years of company history, are there any people you remember with affection?
Yes, I remember quite a few people with affection. First of all, the two owners, the founders of the company, who I believe to have practically been the makers of this fortune, which in some ways still lives on by hysteresis of their ideas and thoughts. Very strong memories, especially linked to the design process, are tied to engineer Bekes, who was in charge here when I first joined the company as a CAD designer. I was hired as a CAD designer, so he was my reference person and master, the one who explained the product to me. It was very exciting because we laid the foundation for the design methodology of the quick release coupling. I fully understood what the various steps are, the various procedures, the different calculations, and acquiring these skills was extremely important. Those were also very important years to understand the past. I mean, what had been done in the previous years by the old designers, because I arrived at a time of transition when there were some designers close to retirement, and therefore I had the opportunity to learn and draw from these people's experience on the basis of the product itself. Because it is important to point out that the quick release coupling, this product has evolved a lot. It has become very complex, especially in recent years. But behind it, there's always the design work carried out in the 70s and in the 80s. So it is essential to learn those notions and those fundamentals to be able to go forward in the future. Equally important have been the people I collaborate with now, my colleagues in those days. I believe these guys have significantly contributed to the progress of this company in a substantial way and are still doing so. Many times, we tend to forget that a well-designed product is basically what can drive the company halfway to success. All departments are very important within a company. Sales, which look for commercial opportunities and promote them, pushing them inside the company. Production is very important, so is the assembly department and logistics. But behind a product, there's a design project. There are engineers who make calculations, carry out verifications and experiments in the test room. Because we also have a very well-equipped laboratory. Without these people, without carefully planning, we would not have enjoyed the success we have had so far. And I'm especially very proud of the people I work with. Very proud, more than they could ever imagine, I think.
This is a great opportunity to...
Oh yes, this is a great opportunity and I do it with emotion, with pathos. And I also do it publicly because without them, we wouldn't be where we are, and without them, we wouldn't be able to move forward into the future. This is a very important thing. At the end of the day, the steps that make up the design and innovation process are always the same. A request from a customer, a first sketch made by hand with my coworkers or by my coworkers, both on paper and on CAD. Then we move on to prototype build, both using traditional technologies and printing by additive manufacturing, also known as 3D printing. Then these prototypes undergo testing at our laboratory, and afterwards we supply them to our customers who test them and then adopt them in series. And this path finally ends with the recognition, when the product is really extremely innovative, and also with faster registering the patent, since we're very careful with our patent policy in order to protect our ideas.